welcome to Hikvision. I'm Louise Parsons, one of the BDMs here at Hike, and today we're going to be talking about HikCentral 2.3. So some of you have used HikCentral before, some of you may have not. We've actually had HikCentral now since about 2017, and every year we bring out a couple of new versions a year. And these versions may contain new features and updates that you can use on the platform. Now, today we're going to talk about the latest release, which is version 2.3, and what has come since to that platform. So, without further ado, we shall start. The main module, as you can see here, this is all the modules that make up HikCentral. Along the top, you've got the maroon-coloured modules. They are the new features that are within HikCentral. So you can have these as add-on modules. And then on the blue, you can see a couple of these blue modules which have a green arrow going up, which are vehicle, time and attendance, visitor and video. So we're going to also be covering a few new features within existing modules at the end of this presentation. But first of all, we're going to go straight in to the top three. First of all, we're going to talk about in-store business intelligence solutions. So we did have this before on HikCentral, but it's been revamped and it's not a customised version. It is baseline add-on module that you can have. What we're looking at here is CCTV has always been more about the security side, making sure if there's someone there we can get an alert and everything else. But what we're looking at is giving you more back from the system and getting data analysis. And data is something very valuable to us, and we can save time, which in essence is money, and also give back how can we structure things differently to get a different outcome. So it's very valuable. I'm going to initially play you a short video of the in-house module here, so you can see what it's all about.
For shop owners and management teams, obtaining insights from data sources such as customer shopping preferences, customer walk-in rates, and optimised door operations can be extremely challenging. But with its multi-dimensional data adoption and analysis technologies, Hikvision's HikCentral Professional business intelligence system can help. The number of customers who enter the store or pass by can be calculated at the shop entrance. Using this data, the system generates insights into the walk-in rate and pedestrian flow analysis. Let's call our store owner Johnson. Using this data, Johnson can easily see which shops are less attractive to potential customers and adjust accordingly, perhaps by implementing new promotions or using eye-catching advertising to lure those customers inside. By comparing customer flow before and after these adjustments, Johnson can easily evaluate the promotion's effectiveness. Inside the shop, video streams from fisheye cameras covering the whole floor area can be transformed into digital data and displayed in HikCentral Professional as part of a global heat map. On the heat map, the most popular area is displayed in red, with less popular areas in green. Dwell rate analysis provides feedback on the precise customer flow and stay rate of each area. For Johnson, this is valuable information. He can put his new Spotlight products in the most popular areas to ensure the majority of customers pass by and spend time standing in front of them. Sometimes, the long waiting line at checkout can spoil the customer experience. To avoid this situation, queue detection alerts are sent to Johnson as soon as the queue length reaches a pre-configured threshold. Johnson can then arrange for staff to open additional checkouts, easing any customer frustration and improving their shopping experience. HikCentral Professional offers a unified dashboard panel, which simply and clearly displays a wide range of business intelligence data, providing shop owners with useful operational and management tools. The result is an improved ability to make better business decisions. HikCentral Professional.
Hopefully that gave you more of an understanding of what this is all about. Let's go straight into an application. So you may have a retail store and a member of staff that sits out back watching the security video from the HikCentral system. What we can do is add different technologies within the store to enhance the solution. One of them could be our queue detection camera. So placed strategically around the tills, we can set 3 zones in one camera in which you can put a limit on the number of people and the period of time that they are waiting. So you could get an alarm. Say, for instance, we want to get an alarm when there are 4 people waiting in the queue for longer than 2 minutes. You can then utilise your staff and send another member of staff out to help with the queue. So they could be doing other jobs and then come and help when they need to. You should be able to get some reports from this too, which is great because you can see your busiest periods and see whether there's a pattern and maybe you need to change things around in regards to staff. Some other technologies that we can use in the store would be people counting on the entrance, so in which we have 2 forms. So we have this traditional people counting camera, which is a top-down camera. You draw a zone and a line in the middle, so it's when people cross that, and you can do in and out or either or. But we can also get a walk-in rate too. So because we've got the outer box, we can see who's walking by and who actually takes that approach to go within the store, so we can get some figures on that. You may do that because you might want to change your windows up or put some more promotional materials out. And then if you do that, are you getting a better walk-in ratio? So it's all about trial and error and using that for information. The other type of people counting camera we've got is utilising our 7 series cameras with a special firmware on, and then it uses the face recognition to do the people counting. And what this means is you can program up staff members, maybe security guards, so that they don't count in your figures for going into the store. You can also set strangers up to do repetitive face recognition as well. So you can say within a certain amount of time, say within an hour, you don't want that person to trigger another count on the system as well. So it works really effectively. We can also have our fisheye cameras, which are usually ceiling mounted within the store, and below that you can create a heat map. So this is where we can see the busiest areas of the store. So we can look at analytics to know what areas of the store are busiest. If we replace a product within a different area, does that make that area busier? Does it reduce time and dwell time? Because we can look at the dwell times for every camera too. Looking at what type of reports we can get from the system, we've got some examples on the screen. On the top there, you've got people counting entrance and exit. So on the bottom of that graph, you've got the time, and on the left is the number of people. So you've simply got the number of people that go in and out. It's hard to read, but there's another chart on the bottom left-hand side there, which covers the walk-in rate from the people counting. And on the right, just a simple entered number ratio. From the fisheye camera, we've got the heat mapping. So on the screen there, you can see dwell time analysis. So that's from the fisheye, top down, looking down. How long have people been in those areas for? And we can actually drill down into some predefined areas of that section. So you can see on the bottom right, we've got start area, area 2 and area 3, and it's giving you individual statistics for those. So it's all about product placement and how you can best advertise and get more attraction to certain areas of the store. If you want this solution, then you need your HikCentral. Some of you may already have it, or others are going to need to buy it. So you need to make sure you've got your base license in place with your camera or door licenses. And then this is an add-on module. So you buy this part code, which you can see HikCentral PBI report base. The next topic or module we've got here is route management solution. So this is where we can plot routes within the HikCentral, so a module add-on again, but what we're doing is route planning. So let's think of an example for this, something like a bus company. They're following the same route every day. They need to be on time, scheduled, and how can we make that a lot easier for the company? What we can do is we can program each bus with their route into the system. We can see when they left, whether they're on time, whether they're running late, and any potential problems. In the flow chart on the bottom left-hand side, you can see that orange is late and green is on time. So you can get statistics. And if you can see that a bus is running really late, you can put plans in place to obviously solve that problem. The middle one is drilling into one of those buses. And then we go again, we can go into the bus. So we go more into the route, and then we go more into the bus on the right-hand side. Now you can actually see speeding down the left-hand side there. So to do this solution, you do need one of our mobile MVRs within the vehicle. Okay, that's your control. And these have the GPS inside the unit. And from this, we can actually get whether the vehicle is speeding. Why would you want to know about events that happen within the vehicle? Well, if you have a fleet of vehicles with your brand name or even a telephone number going on the side of the vehicle, then you want to make sure they are representing your brand. And if they're speeding or any other events, then you are not going to get a good name necessarily. So you want to make sure everyone is driving sensibly. Looking at other things that we can do, obviously with the correct hardware. So we have an additional piece of hardware which we can put in the vehicle that will give you more features or events. And they can be fuel level sensor, phone call when driving or smoking, forward collision warning, and these would all go in as events. Just speak to your local account manager for more information on those technologies if you want to look into it further. What reports can we get from this? We can see the driving distance, the duration of that drive, and how many events per 100 kilometres and how many events in total. So you're getting all those statistics per driver. Okay, and you can see a lovely little chart there just showing how it presents itself to you. What do you need to buy again? Well, simply like the other solution, you're buying that route management add-on to the existing HikCentral system. So you need your base license and your camera or door licenses, and then you're going to add that on, as well as the hardware that you need. The people counting, if we're to go back to the bus solution, you could have a people counting camera on the bus so you can count the number of people that get on and off. And that's going to give you statistics for the week. What are your busiest days, which you may already know, but it's giving you a much more in-depth look at all of those statistics. The last major feature we're going to talk about is guard patrol. So something a bit different. In the example we're giving you here, you can see we're using our Minmo terminals, which are our facial recognition access control terminals. Now, you don't have to use them as an access control terminal. Here we would be using them purely for just a clocking in on his route. So simply what you do is you plan the route on the system and you put these at every location you want to go. And it would be a site that's open 24/7. So maybe they need to do patrols every day, however many times a day, to make sure the site is clear. All you would need to do this is a Minmo or facial recognition terminal, which can either be powered locally or some of the models can do PoE, and then connect that up to the HikCentral. The guard's office could have HikCentral running with a video wall with all the cameras up on the screen and have alarm pop-ups on one of those as well. And then this is an added feature within that. To set it up, it is really simple. You're just doing your shift, you're just doing your plotting out of the actual tour, which is really easy. And then the person or the guard can have HikCentral app on their phone and they can get notifications prior to their patrol. I did say we're in this application using our Minmos. However, you don't have to. We do have a QR code, so you can issue a QR code and that can be up in place of that. So you could use that as a hard copy. However, obviously by using Minmos and facial recognition, it ensures the reliability and the security of that purpose. But we could do card and PIN on those Minmo terminals too. What the guard can also do is, whilst out on his tour, if he sees anything, he can film it on his phone or take a picture or even text, and he can upload that through the HikCentral app straight away to the security hut. So the person or the other guard within the hut can upload that if they wanted to Evidence Locker as all material to build a file. Also, the second guard in the hut can see if there's a problem on the patrol schedule. So you can see if they've missed a point on the patrol. So as we're just showing you again, we're using the Minmo. We've got the chart on the right-hand side, which is telling you how many patrols have been done, how many are due, a diary on the bottom left of all the patrols, and all of the patrols that have been done. So you've got your events list there too. To do this, again, it's the same. It's an add-on module. So you need your HikCentral base license, camera, and door licenses if you're going to use the Minmo terminals. And you simply just add on this module to the system as well. Now we're going to cover the new features within modules that are new to the software. So as part of when you're buying your camera module, we've got time lapse. So in the past, people have done that directly from the camera and scheduled the camera to take a photo maybe once a day or a couple of times a day or once an hour. This is where we can actually do that within the software. So whether it's a PTZ or a static camera, you can choose certain zones and you can take a picture. And then it will upload however frequently that you've added into the system and give you that time-lapse image. Most likely, that's going to be on a construction site as you see the build progressing, and you may stream it to your website. But there are other applications like power stations in the community that you may want to do that for as well. We've also got a brand new feature in there which allows you to bring in Hik Pro Connect into HikCentral. Now, why would you want to do that? So Hik Pro Connect is the management tool for the installers for Hik Connect, which is the end user app that in most cases is used on a normal system. Now that is actually works over P2P for transmission. What we can do here is with HikCentral, normally you need a static IP address or port forwarding. When we're doing this, it voids having to do that. It sends it over P2P. So you may have a solar camera with a SIM card and you don't want to have to buy a static IP address SIM card because it costs a lot more money. This is where you can just buy this license per camera and you can take that in via Hik Pro Connect, because it works over P2P, into the HikCentral. You may have a site which has multiple cameras, and that's fine too. You can actually take in only one site from Hik Pro Connect into the HikCentral, but on that site you may have 50 cameras. And if you do, then that's where you would need 50 of those licenses that are on the screen right now. Body worn, so we can take in our body worn with the docking station. So we've got a docking station module, and part of this, we've got this great docking station that you can see on the screen. The good thing about this docking station is it locks each individual body worn in its own little container box. The great thing about that is if your member of staff takes one of those body worns and hasn't returned it, you know exactly who took it and who hasn't returned it. What we've got on there now is that unit was actually accessed via facial recognition or PIN code. We've added access control, so simply showing a card to that unit to release one of those docks. We've also given more permissions to the system, so we've got different authentications. So police officer is going to give you the footage of your individual dock. Squadron commander can see all the footage for the whole team, and senior administrator can have access to everything on that docking station. Visitor management. So we can see on the system here, we've got all the QR codes. Now, visitor management is where, with the access control, the receptionists say could give said person, a visitor, a QR code so they know they can access within this certain time frame. What we can actually do now is we can make sure that that only accesses certain floors, so certain companies, whereas before it would open all of the access control doors. Whereas this one, we can actually define different companies and that QR code will only open that one. When the person arrives, it can actually email the person they're going to visit as well. Time and attendance, so we've got the time and attendance module, which again, like the QR code, uses the facial recognition readers. So we're actually learning that those facial recognition readers, the MIMOs, are actually used for quite a few different purposes, and you can use them for multiple as well, so they don't just have to have one purpose. Here, we've had time and attendance where you can simply clock in and clock out on the unit. However, we've just added a few more parameters that we can actually say that Group 1 can go to MIMO 1 and Group 2 can go to the other facial recognition reader, whereas before you couldn't do that with the authentication. We've also added a couple of reports, so overtime, daily and weekly reports to that too. Lastly, a lot of people may have used HikCentral for its ANPR capabilities because it gives you much more simplistic touch and feel to the system. You can add and delete plates with HikCentral and ANPR. You can import your lists to it, whereas if you don't have HikCentral, it's direct to the camera, so it's a little bit more clunky. On top of buying your normal ANPR license with this, we've actually got a package called Entrance and Exit. So that's a module, again, that you add on. And this gives you more car park, parking lot features within the system. So you don't necessarily need it. We can count cars in and out. And what we've developed here as an add-on is before you would have to have 2 ANPR cameras, one on in and one on out, whereas now we've got it so you can have 1 ANPR camera which can do in and out. However, if you are using a barrier, then you will still need your 2 cameras because they're going to control those lanes with the barriers. So in that case, you still have to have 2. We've also added extra rights to the system as well, so we can do dual triple authentication. And what that means is if you have a really secure site, you can say, right, I want when the ANPR is triggered and a face is presented to the MIMO or a card is presented to the reader for it actually to let you in. So it's not just based on one form of identification. That's it for the main features today for the HikCentral 2.3 version. If you feel like you want to try HikCentral, you can log on to our website in which you can download a free trial license. Alternatively, get in contact with your local BDM like myself or account manager, and they should be able to get you a more tailored HikCentral trial license for all the features that you want to try. If you don't know who your person is, then feel free to contact our reception, give your postcode, and we will then advise you of who your local account manager is. Another tool that's listed on the website is a license selection tool. So when you're quoting HikCentral, as you can tell, I've been talking about add-on modules and what you need before. Well, we need to be able to accurately get a list of part codes that you need. Now, yes, us BDMs and account managers can help you with that. However, there is a license tool on the website where you put in the number of cameras or doors and what features you need, and it will give you a list of part codes that you need. So we're just giving you multiple options for that. And lastly, in regards to the prize draw, what we would like you to do is share our link, which we're going to send you later next week, and share it within a 2-week period. From that, we will pick 3 people at random that have shared that link, and they will win a permanent unified global package license free of charge. What that gives you is software for 12 cameras, 8 doors, and that includes access control and intercom, 4 indoor stations and an 8-channel alarm input. You will need the hardware for that, but we're giving you that free of charge. So get sharing when that link comes through later next week. And that concludes today. If you have any more questions, feel free to email answers.uk@hikvision.com. That's answers.uk@hikvision.com. From that, we will get back to you and give you answers within the next 24 hours. Thank you very much for your time.